If you could time travel back 500 years, what sort of modern science, technology, or methods do you know well enough to teach? Hey, what's up? This is part of my shorty series where I take certain thoughts and ideas that I've posted as statuses on different social medias that actually have those character limitations. So I condense an idea down, then I post it, and then people comment in the comment section or retweet or things like this, and we discuss. And I expand on them sometimes by posting other things, and I decided, let me record some of those and put them here, and maybe we can also have a conversation in the comment section. Okay, with this one, I was just sitting around and thinking about what do I know? I have been a teacher. I developed an animation course for a couple of years for a school, a university here in Kenya, and that process led me to understand animation in an entirely different way. So just the whole teaching process, I think to me, makes you understand something different. You have to see it from what if I didn't know all the basic steps that I had to learn before I came to do this, where it's more of just, what's it called? A reflex type of thing. I know that, oh, if I need to make an animation, I automatically think there's keyframes, there's X amount of frames in a basic animation is normally 24 frames per second. If I'm making it some kind of animatic for an actual TV or regular HD type of video, it's only 30 frames per second at least. Then when I look at films and things like that, I understand the background things, I understand the scripting, I understand the storyboarding, I understand why certain camera angles are taken, why certain color things are done. It makes me understand something in a different way. These are certain basic things that I actually had to learn, and then now I just kind of absorb these things and I can do certain things without going through the rough process. But to teach it, you have to break this knowledge down and then teach it out there again and understand it from that point of view where somebody doesn't know any aspect of it. So you have to relearn those things and break it down again, and it can renew your actual knowledge in any particular thing. Now with this one, I'm also a fan of sci-fi, and this one I was just thinking about in general. There's certain skills and things. How many tools of the trade do I use that I don't necessarily know how to actually create and use? I would not be able to create an animation on the computer if I went back 100 years because I wouldn't be able to create a computer. I would still be able to create animations because I've done basic kind of animation, sand animation, decoupage, frame by frame animation by drawing the things, doing like a daguerreotype and things like this. I can still do these basic things with basic cameras and things like that. Or you can just do the whole like flip on a page thing. But now with flipping on the page, let's say I go back 300 years. Can I create paper? Do I know how to do that? I'm an artist. I know how to draw and things like this. Yes, I can draw over the stick and dirt maybe and learn some things like that. Can you even teach the language that you speak? Are you able to teach another human being that? And now this also ties into the whole situation with like homeschooling. I am pro homeschooling. I think people can learn how to teach people basic things, or you can have a situation where you have tutors or people in the neighborhood come around and teach other subjects that you don't personally know to your children under your supervision when you're there in this kind of situation. It would have something to do with changing the way people are demanded to make X amount of money to live in X areas and live in Y areas due to Z kind of political state situation, the taxation and regulations and limitations and different things like that. But anyway, coming back to this thing, what basic things would you be able to go back and teach? I think my basic ability of just being able to make charcoal in any time 500 years ago and then find things to draw on, I might be able to draw things in a way that describes things well enough for people to understand. There's certain processes that's involved in cooking that I think I'd be able to maybe dry food in a certain way. For sure, I can kill an animal, I can slaughter an animal, I can dress the animal, I can do things like that. But what other things, what are the basic things from 500 years ago do you think you could actually teach today with what you had 500 years ago? What tools you'd be able to do? There's people who are glass blowers. Oh, one thing I think I'd be able to do most definitely is actually make clay pots and earthenware and things like that. I've worked with clay and I'm rather adept at these things. So that's kind of what I was thinking. I would like to actually learn some of these processes from scrap to the final process. Being able to actually find the clay myself, go to the riverbank and be able to identify what is good clay and what isn't good clay, be able to sift between it and separate the clay and things like that and prep the situation, get the container where you can actually put the water and the clay in and get the actual clay out, create some kind of rudimentary wheel. I know you can do just the earthenware where I'm just actually using molding with my hands in that situation, but I want to be able to create the basic tools that you can do to create, to use and make actual things, create a basic wheel, create a basic oven that you can actually fire these things in, create basic glazes and things like this. I want to know some kind of thing at least at its full. Whether it's doing that glass blowing, whether it's blacksmithing, whether it's just something practical, whether it's learning how to do irrigation, learning how to farm from the full process, even if it's just a certain thing. I am really good at finding tomatoes and knowing the entire process of tomatoes and how to irrigate a tomato field and how much water, when it needs, when you need to harvest, how you can actually find pesticides and destroy these things. I think this is a basic thing to do. I think it would be a positive thing for, with all the access to information that we have, and I know I'm glad to live in this time. I would probably be even more glad to live 200 years from now, 500 years in the future when some of these things are not even done. We'll be probably living 500 years old by that time with the technology that we'll have at that time. But anyway, you have that kind of situation where it would be good with the access to information that we have, with the time that most of us have, just free time between things. Even if you have a job, even if you have these other things, you'll find time. Maybe you're going to the bathroom, you're sitting there, you're having your number two, you get your phone out, and you just learn how to do some basic things. Maybe get some banana leaves and create papyrus. You're creating basic paper. What are the basic things that you can actually learn? If there's something you enjoy doing, try to find an aspect of that thing that you can understand how to create the entire process from start to finish. I think that would be a positive thing. Let me know if there are actually some that you will be able to do, which are the things you know how to do. And let me know in the comment section. Like, share, and subscribe. Till next video, goodbye.